Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Rugby with Parents on a rather sad day. Sad for me, I'm a Rams fan, and we lost in heartbreaking fashion yesterday. Today is, of course, the week 3 kind of roundup, and we'll do a bit of waivers and get you out of here in probably in about 15 minutes. So, yeah, I had some thoughts about it last night. I didn't watch all the games to the end, but I've seen some highlights since. But let's wrap up 3 things we learned about this week. First thing I learned is, well, more of a question. Are blocked kicks and missed kicks going to be a thing? I think yesterday alone there were 17 misses, 4 of which were blocked. I think 2 of which returned for a touchdown. The returns were crazy, and of course, real heartbreak for me. I don't know what the special teams coordinator are doing. Yes, I've got other things to say about the tush push and not being penalised and stuff like that. And should we have been in a position to lose that game anyway? The Rams lost the game, unfortunately. I'll accept that, but it's just it frustrates me, the whole officiating side of things. And even on that blocked kick, I did think it was. Sorry, this is going to sound so sour grapes. I did think there was a penalty to be called, but regardless, is not kicking now the meta? Is arm punts going to be a thing? And for fantasy purposes, I think it's an interesting kind of landscape. Look at it. You had people like Chase McLaughlin, 20 points, better than most wide receivers and tight ends and running backs even. And then at the other end, the new Falcons kicker scoring -2 on the week after missing a couple of attempts as well. Such wide variation. I think with all the block kicks and everything, it just, even when a player's having a good game, they can have a bad game, and it just adds to more volatility. And I just think I cannot see a good way that having kickers in your league expresses how good you are at fantasy football or not. It's not a skill thing; it's a luck thing, and the huge variety. Anyway, this will be my new hill to die on, eliminating kickers, and it makes me sad because in my Dynasty League we let the winner decide a new rule. They brought in kickers. Hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. Anyway, next thing. Our good defense is good, or this is more an observation again, our good defense is good, or our bad team's just bad. And I say that because we had some crazy scoring defenses. I was watching a lot of the Vikings game, and 2 interceptions going back for touchdowns. Seahawks had one as well. I think they had no, they did. They didn't have an interception touchdown, did they? Did they have a return? I can't remember. But Torrey Horton scoring one as well. The Panthers even getting involved. Bucks getting involved. Colts getting involved with Kenny Moore picking off his first pick 6 from Cam Ward. I talk about those, but you look at the opposition that they all had, and they're all pretty bad. Cincinnati obviously had Jake Browning. Yeah, he's going to throw him. New Orleans with Jake Rattler being rattled. So Jake Rattler, Spencer Rattler, sorry, being rattled by the Seahawks' oppressive defense. The Panthers going up against Atlanta, who just scored a big nothing burger. They didn't really had to do much. They weren't particularly oppressive. They let a lot of yards in, yet came up with a 0. The Buccaneers were a high-scoring defense because they got lots and lots of sacks, lots of pressure, but against a New York Jets team which had Tyrod Taylor, and still they made it look interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure if this says anything yet, and I'm a bit confused. But on the other side, you had the Browns, who are a bad team, but a good defense, going up against a good team. I think it's something to say that every team will have its day, every team will have off days as well. But can we predict defenses yet? I still don't. I still think the year is too early to understand who is a really good defense. We're not going to get the Patriots of old anymore. You can play in your flex spot basically. And I think the final thing we learned, number 3, is to expect the unexpected, unless the unexpected is injuries, because you can guarantee those. And we had so many injuries. And let's take a look at some of the key guys. No particular order here. I think just ones I noted. But Connor out needing surgery. CD Lamb went out early in the game. It was an ineffective, questionable, didn't return. Loveland TBC when he comes back. Alec Pierce out with a concussion. I feel like he's one of those guys who gets a lot of concussions. Maybe I'm wrong. Diami Brown was his shoulder, TBC there. Najee Harris went out for no apparent reason. Tyron Tracy, I think he was his shoulder. Mike Evans limping off, needing an MRI. Terry McLaurin with a quad injury, and Aaron Jones was out, obviously, with being replaced by Mason. And just think, this game is brutal. I think we need to remember that, and I think it's something that we can learn from it. Is that we need to be very attentive on the waiver wire, which leads us beautifully into today. And I was started creating a pickup list of just the guys you pick up from those injuries that I spoke about. Trey Benson, Pickens, Kevontae Turpin, Komet, Josh Downs, Parker Washington, I think it'd be interesting. Amarian Hampton, if he's still available. Cam Scatterbo, Godwin on his return, and Jalen Lane. So let's take a look at some of those names and see where this pans out. I'm gonna on my other screen. I'm just make sure I've got a list of everything. But yeah, some really interesting waiver wire pickups, and I have already made a bunch of my waiver claims already. You need to get in there early, guys, because if you forget, you will be behind. Taking a look at the games, I'm probably saying Trey Benson is one of my top ads this week. I think he's got to be 55% available in most leagues. So you've got a kind of coin flip going on there. Let's take a look at his stats from this week. He did pretty well, I think. Let's have a look. Now we're going to say he's not even on the list here. To Trey Benson, 8.1 in relief. He got obviously half a game, but 10 for 42, 4.2 a clip, and he's involved in the passing game as well. I think he exploded on some interesting runs as well. So he's 45% available, not 55%. He's 55% rostered, so you've got a little bit under a coin flip to get him. But I think he could be really interesting, and he's going to be the guy that they go with a guy. Yes, he got some looks, but I think they were kind of just bring him in and load management. But they've got no worries about load management with Trey Benson, and I think he's plug and play. In the place of potentially losing out on Terry McLaurin, we saw a bit of upside from Luke McCaffrey. He's available, very much available. Judkins, I think you need to get him in your lineup. He had an absolute breakout. I can't believe he's still available, and I will be hunting for him. Still, 30% of leagues don't have him rostered, and I think it was a sign last week that he was going to play a lot, getting 10 touches and 61 yards. This week, he's just shy of 100 against a very good team in the Green Bay Packers. He's someone that I would look to get on board as soon as you possibly can. Tyquan Thornton is an interesting pickup. He's available in 98% of leagues still. He's obviously becoming a favoured target. He's not volume play, but if you're desperate on wide receivers, he's a really interesting player. Josh Downs, I think, would be interesting. He's available in 54% of leagues currently. Again, another coin flip one. Again, but with if Alex Pierce leads they need targets. Daniel Jones seems to be spreading it out pretty well. Cole Kmet is an interesting one because you would think with Colton Loveland out, he would instantly level up, but he hasn't really. And unfortunately, it's one of those ones where no one's really leveled up at the tight end position, except for someone like Hunter Henry, and he's someone that I would definitely hone in on this week. Available in over 50% of leagues. I'm not sure about his kind of next few games, but Carolina seems a bit soft. Buffalo, they'll need to throw it a lot. He's becoming quickly a favoured target. 8 receptions this last week, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's always been one of those guys who will be a decent tight end that you can throw in at the kind of flex range. Maybe he's a bit better than that, and I'm going to be hunting for him for certain. I'm also going to be hunting for Dalton Kincaid, who is criminally under rostered after secretly outperforming the last 3 weeks. He's been very impressive and left him pretty well for the season so far. If Wentz carries on, TJ Hawkinson is obviously a buy. He is probably rostered in all of your leagues regardless. Yeah, 93%. If he's still available, it's very unlikely, but go and get him. Wide receiver, let's go do this breakdown player by player and position by position. Trey Tucker is a really interesting one, and I really like the opportunity of him. 98% available, but I don't know whether this was just a crazy game, and it kind of was. They had to chase it a lot, but 8 for 145. He was basically unguardable. 3 touchdowns. on 9 targets. He wasn't missing anything either, and he got a carry to boot as well. I don't really know what it was because he's never really shown a 40-point game, but that's bonkers. He's definitely a player of the week. If any of you have him in best ball, you are laughing because no one was going to start him unless you're in the deepest of deep, dark, danky leagues. There's other couple of players who flashed as well. Luther Burden flashed with a big one, 101 on 3. I don't think that's guaranteed play, but he's someone you could be looking at on your waiver wires as well. Torrey Horton. He got this obviously miscellaneous touchdown. I think it was a return, was it? So it's not going to be consistent, but still, he got 12 points regardless. They got a standard TD, so maybe it's there. I still think Sam Darnold's passing volume isn't quite there to sustain the offense there, especially with Jackson Smith and Jigba hoovering up the volume here. Although only 5 on 6 targets, but he was spreading around the ball pretty well. There's lots of interesting players, but I think someone you need to go look for. And I was really surprised. And this is my big get. If you can find him in your waiver wire, Chris Godwin. He's still available in 25% of leagues, so you've got a 1 in 4 chance of getting him. He's going to get play. If Mike Evans is out, he's going to get play either way. I think he's going to come back next week, potentially. They've got a tough game against Philadelphia. Maybe they'll save him. If he's not about, the person you want to be looking for is Sterling Shepard, who seemed to be targeted quite a lot in the end zone. I just felt like it was him, but 4 for 80 this last week, which is a really impressive clip rate, available in 99% of leagues. Going up against Philly, they're going to need to throw it. They do have an impressive defense, but you are not going to get punished for playing a wide receiver who gets intercepted. That's the quarterback's fault. There's a couple of other players as well. Parker Washington, I thought was interesting. It's not a great lineup in general there, and unfortunately the app I'm on here is just crashing out when I want to go to wide receiver. But I think he got 4. But every time I flicked on the game, he was there in clutch situations. And you know what clutch situations lead to? Clutch situations lead to opportunities. And he's someone that I would I'd really like to see do well. It's flipped to 2025 season. I cannot find him for love nor money, but trust me, go and take a look at Parker Washington. He's available in 99.5% of leagues as well. At the running back position, you've also got Cam Scatterbo with Tyron Tracy going out. At tight end position, you've got Gadsden, who is interesting, basically untaken. Brenton Strange, I think, is becoming a clutch guy as well, so he'd be someone I would be looking at. I think he had a pretty okay week. Yeah, he did. He was a top 6 guy. How many points he had? 12.1 points, but that's a tight end 1. In this crazy world, if you can get 10, 12 points, you're a tight end 1 in most leagues because the position is dirty. But the player I would be really interested in as a speculative ad is Kirk Cousins. Yes, he got a little bit of relief at the end. They were already down by so much, but if they even think about losing a bit of faith in Michael Penix, Kirk Cousins is Kirk Chains. If you watch quarterback, you know him, you love him, you're confused by him at the same time, you want to sing share with him, but he is a very interesting speculative ad for very deep leagues. Definitely, he should be now rostered into quarterback leagues as a QB4 at the very least. Available in 99.6% of leagues. Go and take a look. So that's your lot. Let me kind of boil down. If you're just listening to the soundbite, these are the guys that I'm going to be saying, and I'm going to be putting this on socials as well. This is why I'm just looking at what my social post said in the first place. I think the number 1 get this week, if you can get him, available in 31% of leagues, is Quinshon Judkins. He will own the Browns backfield indefinitely now. Trey Benson is available in 45%. His injury opportunity is going to increase by no end, so go and take a look at him. Chris Godwin burn your priority for Chris Godwin. If he returns this week, you will be laughing. It's worthwhile getting early as well. If you're in a fab league, spend early because he will come back and he has the opportunity to be very, very good once more. Hunt Henry is available in over 50% of leagues. His touchdown upside, and he's shown himself to be a May favourite. Then speculative ads, you've got Coco Chains, if it's not Penix season, 99.9% available, and Xavier White. Javier White, he's the yin to Mason's yang. Mason is obviously going to own that backfield, and he had a great performance against a rubbish Bengals defense. He was definitely going to be a start of the week regardless. Yeah, he's someone that I'm going to want to see you play as much as you can. But those are your sound clipped guys. Let's take a look at where I did well and where I did badly this week. Actually, no, we'll save that for the next episode. We'll save that for the midweek episode, which unfortunately I didn't manage to get this last week. I'm very sorry. I will have it on plate for next week. Just so happened that I was very busy this last week, but that's your lot, guys. If you like this episode, you've seen the socials, you've seen everything. Please like, favourite, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Share it amongst your friends. I will be back on Thursday, where I'll be warning you to take your positions, guys, out your flex position. I'll be commenting on the Monday night football games, as well as giving you some look ahead for week 4. God, week 4 already. We'll have to do our quarter season returns at the moment and see what we've learned in short order as well. But thank you so much for listening. If you like this, obviously you can support the pod at Rugby with Pads, rugbywithpads.com if you want to go and support and get yourself some merch as well. I'm not wearing any today, unfortunately, but I will be getting some more refreshed stuff. So to model for you guys watching on the YouTubes. But thank you so much for listening, and I will see you all very soon on the Virtual Gridiron.